has anybody ever told you look like Christopher Reeve? I'm a big fan. And I thought, no, I never hadn't. If somebody had said it, I didn't recognize it anyway. That put it in my mind for the first time, because if there's gonna be a remake or anything, then you're definitely gonna get you in on that. You have a good chance.
Now, from Funko Hollywood, it's time for Pop Talk.
My name is Brandon Routh, and you most likely know me from Superman Returns, also Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Chuck, Season 3, and Ray Palmer and Legends of Tomorrow. It's odd to let that stand and have recognition. Us artists, we doubt ourselves, and if we've contributed, and if we're making a difference, so what does the art do? Thankfully for conventions, and Funko being a part of conventions, it really brings people together, and they're able to share their love, which is really wonderful. And I'm there to receive it. Even though I'm not Superman, I represent Superman. I'm just kind of the spokesperson for the character as best as I can be, and that's it's a really wonderful thing. Simple answer is my parents, both musicians, very musical, art oriented family. I wanted to be a writer and go to the University of Iowa, which has a very good writers program, and be a fiction writer. And then one spring break, an opportunity came to go to a local agency to look into making some money, just make it, be in a little catalog for JCPenney or something. And that turned into going to New York. I met managers and agents, signed with somebody, and moved out to LA. Then that was kind of it. My parents were totally on board. I mean, maybe even more on board than I was. They were very much behind it, and I wouldn't have been able to get to New York without them, because they basically financed it on a credit card that was already, past its limit, to get me there. And that belief in me, I guess, even though it was very naive, because I had no idea, we had no idea what we were walking into. I didn't let my fear stop me, I guess, maybe because I was too naive being from Iowa. It's not that I didn't take no for an answer, but I just thought something was gonna happen, that I was going to make it, whatever that was. No idea that it was going to be Superman. That idea didn't get into my head until I met my first manager. At the beginning of the journey, mostly, but because he said, has anybody ever told you look like Christopher Reeve? I'm a big fan. And I thought, no, I hadn't. If somebody had said it, I didn't recognize it anyway. That put it in my mind for the first time, because if there's going to be a remake or anything, then you're definitely going to get you in on that. You have a good chance. That was just totally subconscious until things started to kind of move around over a couple of years. I saw things kind of like coalescing to maybe he was right. Maybe there was a chance for me to do this. Smallville came out. I had a call back for that. I didn't get that, and so I thought it was over, but then it just kind of, it happened. Humility has come because of those experiences. I'm grateful for them now, even though they were challenging at the time, but those are the challenges anyway. You get it's easy, but then if you don't realize the work it takes, or the work it would take somebody else to do it, then you don't have as much gratitude for it also either, potentially, because you don't know how hard it's been for somebody else. And I think that's been a challenge of my life, because I had such loving parents who supported me. It was hard to sometimes sit with heavy emotions. I know we're getting into something else here, but this is the journey of an actor. And my parents are wonderful. No parent is perfect, and I'm understanding things that they did their best on that I can improve on now to help my son with. A big self journey just for me has just been being able to sit with my own heavy, sad, deep emotions, recognize them, allow for them, and that's okay to have them. And then when I can do that, I can do that for other people, because I think it was a challenge for me to be able to do that, because I was uncomfortable. Again, because of my not naivete, let's call it, or ignorance. Definitely the negative comments, especially before the movie came out, about people judging and worried about my casting, they affected me. I also felt like I made it this far. I was like, I had enough recognition at the time of how like improbable it kind of was, that if I'm here, I just gotta do it and shut them out. It wasn't that cogent of a thought, but that was kind of the energy of it. I wanted to prove, people wrong, which was, can be a motivating energy as well. And I am grateful now. I mean, the payoff has been the whole time since the movie's come out, but especially now, people have a deeper recognition and gratitude for Superman Returns in some ways. It's getting a fresh look in many ways. People appreciate the film, and I appreciate the film, but it's also interesting to hear people's feedback too, because it can be helpful as long as we don't take it too personally. Yes. I definitely learned more about the lore and history of Superman because I was a fan of the movies, the first two films as a kid. Before I auditioned for the first time, I watched the movie again. That was kind of all I needed. But I knew the energy of Chris and was a huge fan of that movie and him. His love for Superman is so beautiful, I guess, that it just always hit me, and it was not challenging for me to shift into his energy and add my own. It's just, that's Superman for me. That was a no-brainer. I mean, I didn't know the subject material going in, but I was called to have a lunch with Edgar Wright, the director, and I was like, who, really? I was like, okay, because I was a huge fan from Shaun of the Dead. No matter what it was, I would have just taken the meeting just to sit down and talk to him. And we had an awesome lunch, and he told me about Scott Pilgrim in the world, what he was wanting to do with it. And I think he even had some animatics or some kind of stunt rehearsal that they'd filmed some of it and then done some of the effects, the video game-like effects to show everyone. And I was just, wow, and it was like incredible. And to play such a fun character opposite of what people knew me from was also exciting and challenging, and it was comedy, which is my first love.
I partake not in the meat, nor the breast milk, nor the ovum of any creature with a face.
I love doing comedy, so this was a huge yes for me. And the animated series was awesome, so fun to be a part of. I love playing Todd Ingram because he's so just out there. It's got layered messages as well as being, hilarious and creative and fun. It's a testament to Edgar Wright and also Brian Lee O'Malley, who's the creator of it. Edgar kept us all kind of like a nice family. And that's a really cool thing to be a part of that group of people. It'd be kind of fun if it became like an acting troupe. I think we should just put us in other things where we're playing similar characters. Gaming was a big part of my life, yeah, for a while. Pretty much non-existent now. But which is hard to believe. I mean, I grew up on Nintendo, had Super Nintendo, didn't have a lot of games, but a lot of Excite Bike and Duck Hunt, the gun right up against the TV and our old huge TV and Gradius was one of my favorite games. Anyway, so then I had a Sega, Shining Force, shout out Shining Force series, one of my favorite games of all time, RPG. And probably fueled my love for fantasy was this RPG game. Then all the Blizzard stuff. When I was a freshman in high school, I played soccer all through my childhood and high school. We had our first game, we won, had an assist. Next Wednesday at practice, I broke my collarbone. Now I think about it and I think, well, if that wouldn't have happened, I wonder if I would have pursued if the path would have gone that I would have gone to acting, because I would have been more invested in soccer and not thought about doing other things. Anyway, interesting. So I then had a broken collarbone and dove into Warcraft, the original Warcraft, and other games. And I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, so I played a lot of video games, read a lot of books, and that's what developed an addiction definitely to video games for a long time, because that was where I had comfort, Anyway. All the time. A lot of Ray Palmer and Adam and Todd Ingram pops. With the Todd Ingram ones are hard to come by, I guess. Superman is kind of a funky one because there isn't a Superman Funko that is me, or a Superman movie that I wasn't in. I bought a couple for my son. Very small collection. I've been given many of them. I've been gifted custom Kingdom Come pops when I was in the UK, which are pretty sweet with the new suit and everything on there. And I think they're fun and cool. I have a film that I'm very excited about, that I guess it's okay to talk about now, called Ick, which did at the end of the summer, independent, and high hopes for it to become a really fun horror comedy. But it is funny, and it's kind of like a monster movie, PG-13, so it will be scary and a little bit but should be okay eventually for my son to watch soon. Oh, favorite cartoon growing up and why? I don't know why Gummy Bears is coming to me, but I did love Gummy Bears. Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Maybe because I was younger when I saw it. I'm gonna go with that. Oh, man. Favorite song of all time, maybe like Bohemian Rhapsody. Superman, because he's the best, and that's it.
Bye.
Oh, used to be Braveheart.
But they'll never take our freedom!
Python the Holy Grail?
He says he's not dead.
Yes, he is. I'm not!
Pretty far up there. Back to the Future.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I'm gonna give you two. Probably my Nintendo, because that's a big part of my life. But I also loved this remote control car, this red Arrow remote control car from Radio Shack that I got from Santa Claus one Christmas that I destroyed. It lasted a while, but it definitely got driven into places it shouldn't have. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I think the first I bought with my own money, I think it was Presidents of the United States of America, possibly, because I didn't listen to a lot of popular music because my parents didn't, and not that it wasn't allowed, but we just didn't. And so, yeah, I didn't have a lot of CDs, but or tapes, I guess, may have been tapes. La Bamba, I had La Bamba when I was a kid, but I didn't buy that, and I wore that out. Favorite breakfast cereal. Let's go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Oh, I got to get my beard on. I don't know if I did all the pieces. You got this guy? Wow. It could be me if I dyed my hair. I started out with these pants because they looked like kind of like vaguely Superman colors, and I didn't want to have too much of it. But then, and then there are gloves up there too. Or no, it was the top and the torso, and the pants just kind of matched. And then the sunglasses were fun. It's me in disguise. Or it's Todd Ingram, who dyed his hair blue and grew out a mustache, and dyed it also. It's Rod Bingram. Coming to you. Coming to you. Check it out at your local Funko provider. Rod Bingram.